Jai Shri Krishna. Today is Tuesday, May 26, 2026, and moon is in Hasta Nakshatra. But this video is not on Hasta Nakshatra. This video will be part 2 of the Manglik or Mangal Dosh. Yeah, this is part 2. If you have not watched part 1, please watch part 1 before you come to part 2. And this is kind of the decoding of the Manglik Dosh. Yeah, part 2. I initially thought part 2 may not be needed, but when I finished part 1, I kind of had it in the back of my head that I had to do part 2, kind of to break it down further. And I know I missed some details which I had also wanted to share. But there is always, part 2 when you to add when you kind of skip or miss some details. Yeah. So as I always say, the first time doesn't work, second time works, and moon is also in Virgo, in duality in Hasta Nakshatra. And today is also Tuesday, and I'm using Mars Hora. And by the time when you see this video, it'll be, the ascendant will be Libra ascendant. For me, at least my time, when I'm publishing it. Yeah, everything is based on my time. So before we start, the bells and whistles, the first thing, please click the notification and subscribing video thingy in the, YouTube corner, yeah, so that you are kind of informed, up to date on the latest and the greatest videos I publish. 2 would be is also please share your feedback and comments. It helps myself and everybody also as well, yeah. So and people have shared, so I really appreciate that. 3 is do if you're interested in Vedic astrology, do attend the Clubhouse session classes as well, and weekly 7:20 p.m. Central Time. Yeah, and that'll be live sessions. You can always join Clubhouse app and listen to the past recordings as well in the archives. So you have to download from the iOS or Android the so-called Clubhouse app, and then within that you have to add Vedic Astrology Club to it. All right, okay. So we'll come back now. This is going to be Manglik or Mangal Dosha part 2, yeah, for marriage specifically as well, decoded. Watch part 1 before you come to part 2. All right, okay. So in part 1, I had mentioned about full moon aspect conjunction can dignify the Mars. Same thing, I believe I would not have mentioned Jupiter conjunction as well, other than Jupiter aspect, which I mentioned. Venus aspect, Venus conjunction also. And I know I had mentioned about Venus conjunction can bring into love relationships, love affairs, those kind of things, leading to a marriage possibly. Yeah, okay. Now, Mars owns the first house in Kalpurush. See, everything in Vedic astrology you have to decode using Kalpurush, Aries, okay, which is very important. Mars owns the first house, and which is kind of also Mars Mulatrikona Rashi. And Mars, there are many karakas for Mars and professions if you look at it. And I would say Mars is a very important planet because it has got the highest amount of professions than any other planet. Okay, all right. Now Mars is the Kalpurush Lagna. So think from a Kalpurush perspective when somebody is born. And usually people are born in a hospital. Usually, if not at home also, you'll have a hospital setting in a way. You will have a doctor, a nurse, etc. Now, I say doctor also because Mars Karaka, if you look at it as a profession-wise, doctor comes in, nurse comes in, yeah, medicine comes in, okay? 8th, so that is first house. 8th is also the house of longevity and death, okay? 3rd house is also, in a way, 8 to 8, Bhavat Bhavam is 3rd, but 8th house is the important thing here. Now, 8th house, if you see, is also owned by Mars. Is that a coincidence? No, right? So the first house is owned by Mars, the 8th house is owned by Mars. The 8th house is a watery sign, which is Scorpio. more of emotions. And first house is owned by Mars, which is a fire sign, and it's Mula Trikona. In the 8th house in Scorpio, there is some energy of Ketu associated also, if you see. Okay, now keep everything aside for a minute once you understood these details. Now the most important thing, if you look at it, right, the 8th house is also a house where, suppose when somebody is in the deathbed or dying stage or close to death, you are either in a hospital or a doctor also is with you, or a nurse is with you, or you are being undertaking medications. Either one is going to happen, which is also a karaka for Mars in a way. All right, so first and 8th connection. Now, is it a coincidence, or is it more than a coincidence, that there are only 8 blood types as per medicine and science? That is not a coincidence. The first and the 8th is connection, as I explained, and it's coming back to the 8 rashis and the 8 blood signs, right? Now, if you look at it, Saturn is associated with longevity. In Karma Karaka, plus is also associated with longevity. Okay, even though Mars owns the 8th house, Saturn has a say in longevity, right? That is why Saturn has been given, because Saturn is not only a Maraka or a difficult planet, malefic planet rather. I shouldn't say the word Maraka, but a malefic and a difficult planet, 100% malefic. Okay, plus Saturn is also Karma Karaka. Now, Mars is not 100% malefic. Mars is 75% malefic and 25% benefic. Okay, so if you look at it, Saturn, the number 8 is also in a way associated with Saturn. The 8th nakshatra is Saturn's nakshatra, which is Pushya. The 17th nakshatra, which is Saturn nakshatra Anuradha. You had 1 and 7, you get 8. And the 26th nakshatra is Uttara Bhadrapada, which is also Saturn nakshatra. You had 2 and 6, you get 8. Okay, so the 8 blood types, you're kind of understanding the relationship between Mars mostly, and then there is a connection with Saturn. And in the 8th house, you also have the Saturn nakshatra, which is Anuradha. Okay, now if you understand, Mars in a way owns the 1st and the 8th, which is first is more like birth, right? And the 8th is more like longevity or death. Okay. Now the question is, why Mars gives Manglik problem, right? The Manglik dosha. Now Mars is only 75% malefic, 25% is still benefic. Why not Saturn? Now this is something you should think about it, and when you're meeting astrologers or whoever it is locally, right, have those meaningful discussions. Right? Why Mars? Ask them. You don't need an answer that it's written in BPHS book. We're looking for more than that. You have to decode that information, right? It becomes a bookish knowledge when you just say 5 plus 4 equal to 9, and anybody can say it, like a parrot. Okay, so here is the thing, okay? I will tell you this, understand it, digest it, let it sink through, and watch the video again. You will decode it on your own. So the Kal Purush is Aries, okay? For the Aries Kal Purush, the 7th house becomes Libra, which is house of partnerships, marriage, business, right? Marketplace, everything. Business partner, life partner, living relationship, everything is associated with Libra, okay? That is where your marriage thing is. Now, reverse it. If you keep Libra as the ascendant, because why we are keeping Libra ascendant here, we want to see the strength of the marriage, which is 7th. Now from there, if you see, Mars will own the 2nd, which is Scorpio, and Mars will own the 7th, which is Aries. Okay? What does it become? Its 2nd is a Maraka, 7th is a Maraka. Okay, 2nd is a Maraka, 7th is a Maraka from Libra, where the house of marriage, house of partnership is. So in a way, if you see, Mars is now a double Maraka, owning 2 houses of Maraka, 2nd and 7th. Okay, this is the primary reason the Manglik dosha is coming for all of us from an astrological perspective. This people, most of the people won't tell you. Okay, they will just tell you what is written in the book about Manglik and 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, 12 from the Lagna. Then they'll add layer like from moon, from Venus, from sun, etc. Okay, but this is the answer. Yeah, watch the video again if you're not getting it. I mentioned it at a very high level in part 1 to kind of, scratch the surface, and now we are going to the second level. Okay, all right. So now it is also not a coincidence there are only 8 blood groups according to science. We are coming back to the 8 blood groups. Simple way is, take your blood group, and then whomever you are dating or wanted to marry or married or whatever it is, right? Or your partner or whatever it is, take their blood group. You can match with a blood group to see itself if you have Manglik or not. Why blood group is, see, if you give the wrong blood group to a person who cannot take that blood group, that in a transfusion kind of a way, that person will die. We're talking about very bad situation. Okay, so if the recipient blood type, meaning if your blood type, let's say it's A plus, you can be matched with A plus, A minus, O plus, O minus. So A positive, A negative, O positive, O negative, if you are A positive. So this means that is your Manglik is neutralizing. So end of the day, you're good to go. Forget Manglik, forget anything. Okay, because it's a match. Do you get it? So what astrologers do is they will match Manglik to Manglik, non-Manglik to non-Manglik. What I am telling you is another angle here, scientifically. Because I did rules and exceptions in part 1, this is more about understanding the blood types and matching as well. So A positive, if you are A positive, you can match with A positive, A negative, O positive, or O negative. What means the donor blood types can be A positive, A negative, O positive, O negative. If you are A negative as a recipient blood type, you can only accept from A negative and O negative. If you're B positive, right, blood type, you can accept only from B positive, B negative, O positive, O negative. If you're B negative blood type, you can accept only from B negative and O negative blood type. If you're AB positive blood type, any blood type will work for you. Any blood type. Okay? If you're AB negative will work for you, A negative will work for you, B negative will work for you, O negative will work for you. Okay? If you're O positive blood type, only O positive and O negative. And if you're O negative, only O negative will work for you. Okay, the O positive, O negative, little bit of a challenge, I would say. And then the A negative and B negative because of a very limited matching blood types. So keep this in mind. This is an easy way when if you go to multiple people and one says you have Manglik, one doesn't say you have Manglik, etc., right? And when you get conflicting opinions, use this. Okay? So again, for example, for the recipient A positive as blood group type, the donor blood group can be A positive, A negative, O positive, O negative, right? So keep that in mind. Okay, watch it again if you're not clear, right? So if you do any other blood types, it can potentially kill the recipient itself, right? With the wrong blood group especially. In this case, who is A positive. If you give any other blood type other than A positive, A negative, O positive, O negative. Okay? See, the blood group, this blood group matching is only for checking the Manglik dosha, not for any other doshas. Not for anything else. All right? Okay, this is something else you want to look at it. Now, Mars aspects, the Mars is 75% malefic, 25% benefic. Wherever Mars sits will aspect the 4th, the 7th, and the 8th. 3 aspects it's got, special aspect, 4th, 7th, and 8th. Okay, suppose if it's sitting in the first house, it will, which will give you Manglik technically from the Lagna, everything from the Lagna here, right? It will aspect the 4th, 7th, and 8th. Okay, so in the Lagna, it's going to give you Manglik. In the second house, if he's going to sit, he's going to have aspect 5, 8, and 9. Again, he's going to give you Manglik in a way because he's aspecting the 8th house here. Okay. Now, 7th house is marriage, 8th house is the longevity of marriage. That is why it's called the Mangalyasthana. The third house, if it's 6th, if it's Mars sits here in the third, it aspects the 6th, the 9th, and the 10th. There is no Manglik dosha here. If the fourth house, if it's going to sit, there is 7th, 10th, and 11th. 7th is aspecting Manglik. Now, again, there is rule and exception, right? Just because it sits also. The Jupiter, the full moon, the Venus, and then which ascendants, the team A, team B, which I had mentioned in part 1. You have to know that. The fifth one, if fifth house Mars sits, it's going to aspect 8th, 11th, and 12th. Now, Mars may not give you the Manglik here, but will damage a little bit of the fifth house from children. You know, giving children, late children, separation from children, etc. So this is, even though there's no Manglik, there is a challenge when Malefic comes and sits in the fifth house, Purva Punyasthana, and ninth house also Bhagyasthana. They may not give you Manglik here. Mars may not give you that. Rather than may, won't give you, but give you other problems. Sixth house, excellent position. Third house is an excellent. Sixth house is an excellent. 10th is a good. 11th is excellent. 10th and 11th, both are good. 3, 6, 10, 11 from Lagna, but should be in a friendly Rashi. Okay. All right. We finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For 5 houses, we finished. Sixth house. Mars is in the sixth house with the 4th, 7th, and 8th aspect. It will fall on 9th, 12th, and 1st. Okay, 9th, 12th, and 1st. 6th is a very good placement. Okay, all right, 7th house, right? If it sits in the 7th, will give you the Mangal dosh. 10th, it'll aspect the 10th, 1st, and 2nd. It'll aspect Lagna and 2nd. But again, the rules and exceptions you have to apply. Yeah? Even though I say it sits in the 7th, gives you Mangal dosh. Sits in the 8th, will give you Mangal dosh. Will aspect 11th, 2nd, and 3rd. Sits in the 9th, will aspect 12th, 3rd, and 4th, right? So it may not give you Mangal dosh, but again sitting in a Bhagyasthana, which is not good. Okay, Mars will give you ruffle and tuffle with the father, or separation from father, or early death of father, sufferings for father, etc. Okay, 10th house, and you also have, when Mars comes to 5th or 9th, you also have to leave your birthplace. Okay, all right. Mars in the 10th house will aspect 1st, 4th, and 5th. This is a good position for Mars. But you always have to see whether it's a friendly Rashi. Mars in the 11th, 2nd, 5th, and 6th. Excellent position for Mars. Okay, Mars in the 12th, 3, 6th, and 7th. This is not good. Okay, 3rd, 6th, and 7th, it's not good. But again, these are all very high rules. Please watch video 1 to understand the rules and the exceptions, right? And it will be a good exercise for you to check the same within your family by chart comparisons and blood group comparisons, as I have mentioned. If so, what did you conclude, and did you see the same thing what I'm saying? And please share your feedback in the comment section. Okay, so it's a very easy technique for you to apply to the blood group rules, as I said. Compare and eliminate the confusion. But it's not only rule, but rule and exception. So you have to watch part 1 and part 2, take your notes and understand it. And you can eliminate the confusion and chaos around Mangal dosha. Okay, excellent remedy to minimize the Mangal dosha and work around it is blood donation camps. Gandha Sashti Kavasham, praying to Skanda Muruga, Mars, Hanuman, Maruti, etc. Yeah, I hope this video was helpful. I'll see you soon in another video. Jai Shri Krishna. Om Mangalaya Namaha, Om Skandaya Namaha, Om Kartikeyaya Namaha.